Row 18, plot 20.
Hey everybody, welcome to the JLAmember channel. Today I'm doing a movie review for a movie that I just watched called Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham. This is an animated film, PG-13, hour and 26 minutes. There's no ratings yet on IMDb because it literally just came out, and since I had the time, I'm making my video right away. Very, very brief synopsis. An ancient evil awakens and only Bruce Wayne can save 1920s Gotham City. So this is based on an Elseworlds story. Let me get, because I want to make sure I say these things right. I get complaints about that I'm reading too much scripted and I'm not giving enough whatever. I'm giving too much plot away. Go F yourself. Okay, so this was adapted from the serialized graphic novel written by Mike Mignola and Richard Pace and illustrated by Troy Mixey and Dennis Jenke in 2001. So those guys got to be thrilled to see their work made into a movie, 20-something years later. This style of animation is very reminiscent of other Batman animation styles, like the Red Hood is the first one that comes to mind. Since it's an Elseworld story and it takes place in the 1920s, it did give me kind of a Gotham by Gaslight feel to it. Unfortunately, I don't think this movie was as good as Gotham by Gaslight, but there's definitely a lot of highlights in this movie. It definitely was enjoyable. Making that comparison by no means diminishes this one. I did appreciate that the tags on IMDb are fantasy and horror, because this really did. It was one of my brief notes. I was so into the movie. When I have an index card that is not full, that usually means I'm pretty into the movie. Let me see here. What I wrote. Yeah, good mix of supernatural and horror elements in this movie. So I did like that. If you don't watch Elseworlds stories or you didn't read Elseworlds comic books, it can take a couple of minutes to get used to the idea that you're not watching the traditional Batman that you think you are, especially when it's in 1920s. So yeah, when you know that going into a movie that you're watching characters that you're usually more familiar in modern day, there's typically different origins for these characters, and hopefully maybe they reveal those in the movie. Sometimes sidekicks are different, or other normal other characters in a Batman story are different. They don't maybe necessarily act the same way, or their motivations aren't what they would be in the modern world. And this movie, surprisingly, had a lot of characters in it. I kept going, oh, that's different. Oh, okay. Let me give you a little rundown of some of the characters and their voice actors. So Batman was David Giuntoli. I'm not sure if I said that right. And he did a good job. I really thought he had a fitting Batman voice. Jason Marsden is pretty familiar. He did Dick Grayson's voice. Tim Russ, Lucius Fox. John DiMaggio did James Gordon. Emily O'Brien, Talia al Ghul. There's some ghouls in here. Kirk Langstrom was done by Jeffrey Combs. So all you horror fans out there that love Jeffrey Combs' iconic voice, he's in this. Gideon Adian does the voice of Oracle, and it is Barbara Gordon. But they do a fantastic twist of the title Oracle. And I'm not going to give it away, but as you can imagine, in 1920s, there's not like all this super high-powered tech that Oracle would normally use to gain information to help Batman. But what a great usage of that character. It's probably the one thing that I was like, that's awesome, out of all the characters that are in this, because there's everybody in here from Oliver Queen, Harvey Dent, Poison Ivy, the Penguin. There's a character called Mr. Zero, but I'm pretty sure that was Mr. Freeze. There is a character played by Tata Gabrielle, and she plays Kylie Kane. And if you know Batman lore, Kane, there's the family of Kane, there's the Book of Kane, that has a whole history and lore, and she also becomes Batwoman at one time, but not in this. And Alfred was played by Brian George, and if you see this guy's picture, you definitely know who he is. Thomas Wayne even makes an appearance in this as Darren DePaul. And I said the Penguin, but it's really not the Penguin, it's Cobblepot. He was voiced by William Salyers. And Jason Blood, yeah, Brother Blood, Matthew Watterson. So this is PG-13, Elseworlds story. It starts right off with a slow build-up, but it goes quick. I know that doesn't make sense. But they do like this little walking around this frozen area with this ship, and they actually show, like right off the rip, like a bunch of dead frozen bodies. And I was like, okay, this movie's going to be a little darker than other Elseworlds stories maybe go. But that's the thing that DC animated films do so good. They can go dark, do a one-off movie like this, and it just does great. I wish, I know this is going to sound dumb and contradictory, like the DC live-action movies, you need a connected universe, but I think there's room to do that connected universe and then do one-shots like the Joker or the Batman or, whatever. I wish they would do like a series of Elseworlds movies, which I know what James Gunn is calling the Joker, and he's calling the Batman, the Matt Reeves Batman movies, as Elseworlds. But I mean, like, go into the comic book Elseworlds and pull them up and do a live action, because this would have been a cool live action movie. There was so many supernatural things and horror elements to it. It really would have worked. Excuse me. So, one of my only dislikes of the movie was the way Oliver Queen was portrayed. But, that was the way that character needed to be for the story. So I get that. I do like the Green Arrow. So it was hard to see his character portrayed in this manner for this movie. Again, Barbara Gordon as Oracle, very cool twist. There's even a Batmobile that's pretty darn cool looking. All the action sequences were really good. The balance between the music and the sound effects with the action was really well done. The orchestrated music in the background, I thought it all worked really good. There is a scene where Batman enters like this other realm as we're getting to the climax of the film. And I didn't realize how dark the tone, the coloring of the first 3 acts of the movies are, or 2 acts. I don't know how many acts are in a movie. 18. So in the 17th act, the lighting changed when Batman went into this other realm. It became brighter, and it changed the color tones of the Batman outfit and brightened things up. And I thought, how interesting that it didn't get darker when they went into this like supernatural world. It got brighter, and that the actual real world of Gotham was dark, and it kind of made sense for the movie. There was a lot of sins of the father, a lot of peppering of that throughout the first 2/3 of the movie, and then it becomes prevalent at the end. It's kind of the story as it comes to a close. The sins of the father is the driving theme of why there's the bad people doing the bad stuff and why the Batman's doing the Batman stuff. But there's such cool action in this movie. I really highly recommend it. Just came out. Go to Walmart and buy a copy on Blu-ray 4K, so you get like that crispy, sparkly imagery on your big, huge screen. And let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this, or what are some of your favorite animated Elseworlds movies that DC have done. One of my favorites is Gotham by Gaslight. I would say this is a very close second to that right now. And yeah, so let me know in the comments down below. I've said that like 18 times. So anyways, have a great afternoon. Thank you for watching my video.
So have your dream. Go on and sing your song. There's nothing wrong with singing out of tune. If people laugh and say your dream can never be, just think of